Hello, and welcome back to P3 Ministry with Dr. Judy, and I am Dr. Judy. And in case you're wondering, P3 stands for Plants, Prayer, and Peace. In this channel, we discuss faith and wellness. We believe in a mind, body, spirit approach to living and to wellness. This video I'm so excited about, and the topic is fasting, the power of fasting for faith and wellness. Now, I am a big believer in fasting. There are different types of fasting. There are benefits of fasting spiritually, physically, and mentally. And I'll discuss those in this video. And I'll also share with you how you can get started with fasting. And then also, I wanted to let you know that I do host a monthly corporate fast that you totally should join for my community. It's free. It is the first Monday to Wednesday of every single month. And we fast from food between 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. each day. And during that time, we are turning down our plates. We're seeking God for guidance, for wisdom, and we meet each day on Zoom for a teaching that I'll share, as well as prayer and testimonies. The fast includes a really nice PDF that has a daily prayer, affirmation, journal prompt, and Bible verse. And each fast that we do will have a different theme and probably a different PDF. And this theme is going to be renewal, strength, and hope in preparation for 2025. Isn't that so relevant? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's going to be so amazing. So you should sign up. The link will be in the comments below. It's basically on my website, drjudymd.com. And also, before we get started with the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already and like this video so that more people can see it because this can really change lives. So, how did I get started with fasting? So, I've been fasting for many, many years now, but it wasn't regularly for me until a year ago. So, I would say probably 20 years ago is maybe when I first did my fast, a first fast, and it was a water fast where I wasn't eating any food. I was just drinking water for a 24-hour period, and I've done it the longest for 48 hours. And that was at a critical point in my life when I was trying to decide on a major decision. Like when I was deciding to go to medical school, that was a time when I prayed and fasted. And there were other major moments in my life like that where I embarked on a period of prayer and fasting. And I've always found it to be very beneficial. It really draws me closer to God. I can hear his voice clearer. It removes distractions. And if you think about it, if you're not eating meals, if you're eating less meals, let's say it takes about 30 minutes to an hour to eat every meal, probably even longer if you're cooking it or you're going to the store to buy it or you're going to a restaurant, that's more time that you can spend in prayer, worship, and Bible reading. So it's so beneficial. It's completely life changing. But it wasn't until a year ago when I started doing fasting every single day. I was dealing with a health issue, and a couple of people suggested water fasting. And so I did that for like a day here, a day there, and I felt better and it seemed to work. And then I started looking into intermittent fasting, and then I started doing that. And now I'm just like hooked on intermittent fasting every single day, and then fasting for spiritual reasons, which is we do a water fast or liquid fast where we don't eat any food, doing that about once a month. So I do intermittent fasting for the past year now, and I eat 2 meals a day. And I've noticed so many benefits from it. So I'm going to share some of that with you in this video. And there's scientific evidence for the benefits of fasting. And so if you have any questions about fasting, comment below. I'll be happy to answer them. But I think that everybody should be fasting, whether you have any chronic health issues or not. Even those who are healthy or don't have any diagnosis, it still is very beneficial for faith and for wellness. So for me personally, I think that every believer should fast at least once a year. I believe this very, very strongly just because I've experienced so many benefits from it, and I know so many other people have. And so I wanted to share first why I believe that every believer should fast. So there are many Bible examples of people who fasted and when they were trying to seek God about something. And especially with our modern society, I think that we are too busy, it's too fast paced, and often God takes a back burner in most people's lives, many people's lives, whereby spiritual matters, God worship is only something that they do on the weekend. It's not an everyday thing. During the week, they're so busy rushing around doing all of the other stuff. And God, who is the most important thing in our lives, or should be, the creator of the universe, gets put on the back burner, like put over in a corner for a Saturday or Sunday when you go to church. And that's not how it should be. So fasting brings God to the forefront of your day, because when you're doing a fast, you're more mindful about how you're spending your time. The purpose of it is not to just not eat, but to also spend more time in prayer, Bible reading, and worship, and things like that. So you know that Jesus fasted for 40 days. You know about that, right? When Satan tempted him, and Jesus was fasting for 40 days. I believe it was no food and no water. And that's the definition that we follow in our fast. It's the biblical definition, which is not eating any food. And I know that there are different, I guess, modern versions of fasting, but I don't really consider social media fast to be a fast. Um, that's a nice thing to do. But fasting, according to the Bible, is not eating any food for a period of time. So, what are some other examples of people in the Bible that fasted when they were seeking God? So, you have Moses that fasted for 40 days and nights on Mount Sinai when he received the Ten Commandments. I'm like, 40 days, like that is so long. Like, I'm talking about like just fasting from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. with my fast, but these people were doing it for like 40 days. My goal, though, really is to get up to 7 day, a 7 day no food fast. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Working up to it though. So Moses fasted for 40 days when he was receiving the Ten Commandments from God and he was communing with God, as well as Daniel fasted to seek God's mercy, his grace, and understanding and guidance. The people of Nineveh fasted for repentance and to seek God's mercy. And then Esther fasted. She went on a 3 day fast for herself, her attendants, and the Jewish people before she approached the king to plead for their protection. This fast was a collective appeal for God's intervention and favor in a time of great danger for the Jewish people. So there are many instances in the Bible where people fasted. And I think that if you're going through a season where you are at a crossroads, you have a major life decision that you're trying to decide what you should do, you should do a fast. There is no reason not to do a fast. It's so beneficial. You'll be able to hear God's voice clearer. It removes distractions. You'll find that you're spending more time in the Word, and you will definitely grow spiritually. And I think that we in the body of Christ need to get to a place where we are stronger, not so lukewarm, and really developing more faith in God, more trust in God, spending more time with God, and more intimacy with God. I think for the most part, a lot of people that identify as Christians just go to church on the weekends. Or maybe they'll watch a sermon or watch it online, but that's really the extent of their Christian life. But God is really not a part of their day to day lifestyle. This is kind of what I suspect as far as like time. We show what we value based on how much time we give to it and how much money we give to it, right? And with regards to time, if you look about how much time you spend on prayer, Bible reading, and worship compared to how much time you spend doing other things, obviously you have to work, so it's going to be more than that. But generally speaking, I'm sure that all of us could find more time for God, whether it's cutting out the scrolling through social media, watching less TV. And that's one reason why a fast is so beneficial, because it removes some of these distractions. So, what are the different types of fast? So, there's a partial fast, there's a full fast or complete fast, and then intermittent fasting. Those are probably the three broad categories. So, partial fast is, for example, a Daniel fast is a type of partial fast whereby you are still eating food, but you're abstaining from certain foods. So, with a Daniel fast, you're not eating meat, dairy, junk food, or processed food. That is a partial fast. That has benefits, although some people pretty much eat like that all the time. A Daniel fast is basically eating whole food, plant based. A full fast is not eating any food for a period of time. And you can have a water fast or a liquid only fast where you're drinking teas or water or juice. And then you can also have a dry fast where you're not eating food and you're not drinking liquids. So those are the two types of full fast. And I've found the most benefit from doing a full fast as far as the increased discipline, the increased spiritual growth definitely comes from doing a full fast. I have done a Daniel fast, and since I'm pretty much plant based, don't really eat processed foods, it really wasn't that much of a difference to me. It didn't seem like enough of a challenge, like getting those hunger pains or those hunger, urges. Then you're on a full fast and you have to be like, okay, no, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to pray right now or read my Bible. That's more impactful to me than just saying, okay, I'm going to eat whole food plant based because I'm already kind of doing that for the most part. But I guess everybody's different, but I really am a big advocate for the full fasting for spiritual reasons for the most benefit. And the third fasting, which I do this now every day, is intermittent fasting. So, intermittent fasting is eating within a certain window of the day. So, the most common method is the 16-8 method. That's where you are fasting for 16 hours in the 24-hour period, and you're eating during an 8-hour period. So, that means, for example, you might decide to eat only between the hours of 11 and 7 p.m., for example. And one nice thing about intermittent fasting is that it eliminates late night snacking. It helps to foster self discipline. And I do it now every day. And if you think about it, eating 2 meals a day helps with regulating your weight, and you also kind of saving money too because it's one less meal, but you also find that you have more energy. It's really strange. You would think that if you're fasting and doing this every day, you will have less energy, but I found that I have more energy doing intermittent fasting. So those are the three types of fast: full fast, partial fast, and intermittent fasting. So now I want to talk about now I want to talk about the benefits of fasting. So I touched on the spiritual benefits a little bit. So basically, spiritually, there's more time for worship, prayer, and Bible reading. It increases your spiritual awareness. It opens up time that you would otherwise be eating, preparing food, or cooking. It opens up time for you to spend with God. So it gets rid of distractions. Second thing is it strengthens your faith, and you really realize that the only thing that you really need in this life is God. It makes you depend on God for strength. So when you're feeling hungry and you want to eat, you will pray and ask God for strength to help you to resist the urge to eat. And thirdly, it fosters self discipline. Self discipline, self control is a fruit of the spirit, and that's something that as believers we should be cultivating all the time. We should not be lacking self discipline, especially in the areas of food and sex. Those two areas are areas that the devil uses to lead believers astray and away from God. So, fasting helps you to develop discipline in the areas of appetite, food, and that discipline spills over into other areas. Discipline with regards to sex and sexual immorality, fornication, adultery, um, things like that. And it also helps to develop more discipline and self control with regards to eating rather than letting your appetite control you, having no self control about what you put in your mouth. You're able to have more discipline because when you're fasting, you're basically exercising discipline and you're not eating even when you want to eat. So it's really good for that reason. It's so beneficial, so amazing. And I used to feel that I would get cravings in the evening for snacks. And since I started doing intermittent fasting, I don't have those cravings anymore. My discipline has increased so much. When I first started doing intermittent fasting, I would fast and eat my first meal around 11 a.m. Then I kept pushing it later and later. And so far, the latest I've done is 4 p.m. And I don't even really feel hungry like that anymore. When I first started doing it, because my body was used to eating at a certain hour, I would feel hungry. But now that I've been really pushing myself and challenging myself, I don't even feel hungry like that anymore. So now I routinely eat my first meal around 12 to 2 p.m. That's when I eat my first meal of the day, and I eat my second meal 5 hours later than that. Now, the second area of benefits I wanted to touch on is mental benefits. So, when you're fasting, you'll be surprised at how it helps to increase your focus. I can't really explain it, but if you're someone that's dealing with problems focusing, concentrating, getting distracted easily, fasting can actually help with that. It can increase your mental clarity, and it also leads to better mental focus. I've also shared about how it cultivates discipline, which can extend to other areas of your life. And it also reduces stress and anxiety, especially when combined with prayer and increased time in worship can foster inner peace, reduce stress, and also if you're practicing mindfulness, that can help altogether to promote emotional regulation. And then lastly, there is data to suggest that fasting encourages autophagy, which is basically a process whereby your body clears out damaged cells, promoting better brain health and focus. And so fasting is really good for brain health. Now, the next area that I wanted to touch on is the physical benefits of fasting. So, there's reduced inflammation. So, autophagy is a process that clears out damaged cells, but that also helps the body. It helps to reduce inflammation, which is a cause of many or most, if not all, chronic diseases. Intermittent fasting can lower inflammatory markers and help improve insulin sensitivity, blood sugar regulation, and it can also enhance glucose metabolism. That was in an article in New England Journal of Medicine. So, fasting has so many benefits: spiritual, mental, and physical. And then, lastly, on the physical benefit, is that it can help to regulate weight. If you're dealing with weight, particularly in midlife, around the belly section, that's what happens when you get in midlife. Fasting can help with that, and it can help regulate your weight. So, definitely is something to consider if you are trying to lose weight, you are dealing with food addictions, food cravings. Fasting can help to increase the level of discipline that you have. And that discipline, with regards to what you're eating, spills over into other areas of your life: work, sleep habits, your voice, the words that you're saying. It's just life changing when you learn to develop more discipline and self control in every area. And I believe that God will bless you tremendously. So, now I want to touch on how to get started with fasting. It's actually easier than you think. So, first, choose the right type of fast for you. Decide which type of fast you want to do, and also decide on your reasoning for doing a fast. Are you doing it for spiritual reasons, for physical reasons such as weight loss, or you're doing it for brain health? Write down your primary reason for doing the fast and then choose the type of fast that best aligns with your goals, your health history. For example, if you're doing a spiritual fast, I would recommend to do a full fast, which is not eating for a period of time. If you're looking to fast for physical reasons alone, I would consider intermittent fasting and try that for a week. And go easy with yourself. If it's your first time doing a fast, you don't have to do the intermittent fasting where you are only eating in like a 6 hour window or an 8 hour window. You can start real easy and just make it 12-12. So fast for 12 hours and then eat during a 12-hour window. So you eat between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That eliminates nighttime snacking if you're someone who snacks at night. And then the next day you can do, you're eating in a 10-hour window, and then you can go down to 8. So 16-8 is the most common method. That's the one that I follow. And it's fasting for 16 hours of the day and eating only during an 8 hour window. My window is actually probably smaller because 8 hours would be 12 to 8. So it's probably really more like a 6 or 7 hour window that I'm eating. Yeah. And before you fast, you want to prepare your body. So if you have any health conditions such as diabetes or blood pressure, hypertension, especially if you take medications, make sure that you check with your physician first because of obviously your blood sugar will probably drop if you're fasting, and your blood pressure will probably drop as well. So you want to check with your physician first. And before the fast, just prepare your mind for doing the fast. You can make sure that you're staying hydrated before the fast and have a clear plan in place. So maybe you can plan out your meals, write down what you're going to eat, and so that you have a plan so that you're more organized. And then you also want to create a plan for prayer and meditation. If it's a spiritual fast, which is the one that I'm really advocating that you and everyone do periodically on a regular basis, as the Spirit leads, would be to have a plan and set a time each day for prayer and meditation. So don't just make it an afterthought at the end of your day. I'd recommend in the beginning of the day, before you start your day, before you do anything that day, consult with the creator of the universe, God. Your day will be so much better. You will make better decisions. You'll be happier. You'll be less reactive to whatever comes your way that day. So set aside a time in the morning and a time in the evening. During my corporate fast, I set a goal for everyone to strive for, which is at least an hour a day with God. But you can set your own time and decide how long, but definitely put it in your calendar like it's an event, right? Don't make time with God like an afternoon. Like everything else is in your calendar. I don't know if you use Google Calendar, but I do. But sometimes it's like when you're busy, that time with God is like, oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it when I get home. Oh, I'll do it on my lunch break. And then next thing you know, it's bedtime and you haven't had worship, you haven't read your Bible, and you're exhausted and you just want to go to sleep. So schedule it in your phone and your calendar or whatever you need to do during the fast so that you are getting in that quality time with God. Now, you may be wondering, so how to deal with any potential side effects? What are any potential side effects of fasting? So, with regards to fasting, you could become dehydrated. So, you want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of fluids, plenty of water, at least 8 cups a day. And it's a good idea as soon as you wake up to drink a cup or even two. You can even put some lemon in the water. Ginger tea is good. It helps to ease digestion. It helps just to calm your gut down. So if you're feeling a bit hungry, I like drinking ginger tea in those moments. That's really good for that. So for my fast, we do unsweetened beverages. So unsweetened tea and non-caffeinated beverages. So stay hydrated. If you're not hydrated, you might find that you might have a headache, you might feel fatigued, and you may just have less energy. The second thing after hydration is when you're doing a full fast where you're not eating, you really need to reduce your activity and avoid strenuous activity because you're taking in less calories. So you don't want to be overexerting yourself by going and doing a run or a hard workout in the gym. I would recommend doing a walk, stretches, things like that during the fast. And of course, you know your body, right? If you're like, I work out every day and I can't miss a day or two, then pick a time maybe after you've eaten, maybe 2 hours after you ate, and then go to the gym. But you will have to kind of see how your body feels. Pay attention to any symptoms such as dizziness, headache, especially lightheadedness. Lightheadedness and dizziness can be a sign that you are dehydrated and your blood pressure might be low. And so that's why I really emphasize staying hydrated during the fast. Now, aside from the physical potential side effects, emotionally, there are some things to consider, right? You may feel anxiety at first when you're just starting fasting, thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, am I going to starve to death? People often think they're going to starve to death. This was one thing when I um, used to work in the hospital. People whose family members sometimes had to be NPO or nothing by mouth for a period of time would think that they're going to die not eating for a day or two. You'd be surprised at how long humans can go without eating. Like the average person can go 7 days without eating with no problem, without getting into any issues. And in fact, there is a center, True North in California, that does prolonged water fasting. It's medically supervised fast. Obviously, you're not advised to do this at home, but they fast people for up to 40 days. And these are people with many medical problems. Many of them are very, very overweight. And so they have excess fat storage. And so they are easily able to go 14 days without eating with medical supervision. And I actually spoke to the director at this center, and he said that for people that are healthy, that are not, really dealing with a lot of chronic diseases, like most of their clients, he recommends, and several people who are into longevity will do a water fast either once a quarter, where it's like 2 days, or maybe once a year, where they do a 7 day water fast for longevity, for autophagy, for brain health, and just for overall improved well being. It's pretty cool and pretty interesting. But if when you're fasting, you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can do this, this is too hard, you're feeling doubtful, then that's a good time to pray and ask God for strength. And this is why I like doing it corporately with our community, because we're meeting each day. So you're getting encouragement, and the other participants are sharing how their experience is. You also getting to meet other like minded people. We have a really nice community. And then, of course, I'm giving you encouragement with the teaching that I'm sharing. So it's ways to overcome those emotional feelings of doubt or wanting to give up. And the PDF that I have for my 3 day fast really goes along with the theme. The theme for the next fast, which is December 2 to 4, is renewal, strength, and hope. It's so perfect and so timely for right now, especially with there being a president, new person taking the office in the White House in January, and we are at the end almost of 2024. Again, the link for the fast will be in the comments. Hope that you join us. It's going to be amazing and completely life changing for you. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on is the fact that fasting is a journey. So don't compare your journey to everyone else, but I want you to take some time and think about whether fasting is something that you want to consider. Pray about it, ask the Holy Spirit for guidance. Sign up for my 3-day fast. The link will be below. It's free. Share the link with your friends and family. We want to have as many people sign up as possible, and so that they can experience this fast, because we are at a point in the earth's history where a lot of things are happening in the spiritual realm. Satan knows that his time is short, and he is working overtime right now to deceive, steal, kill, and destroy believers. Especially, he has like a target on our backs. And so we must defeat the enemy in spiritual warfare by praying and fasting. Prayer is literally a tool, and we need to intercede on the behalf of our leaders. We should be praying for the future president as well as the current president. We should be praying for our nation, our country. We should be praying for the world and our families. We, as a whole in the body of Christ, need to pray a whole lot more than we are doing. I think that every church should be having prayer and fasting like every month. They should be having prayer vigils like every month, like not just once every couple of years when there's like a tragic event. So that's what I am doing here on this platform, to fill what I see as a gap. And then also, I believe that God has really instructed me to do this, to show people and encourage people how to fast, and to also promote P3, which God gave me as well, and that stands for Plants, Prayer, and Peace. That basically refers to encouraging people to eat more plant based foods. It's not saying vegan. I am not vegan. I am plant based or plant forward. And majority of the food that I eat is vegetables and fruit. And so there are so many health benefits to eating that way. And prayer refers to daily prayer and fasting regularly several times during the year. And then peace refers to working on cultivating inner peace by engaging in daily stress reduction strategies. And then I have other videos about reducing stress where I talk specifically about those strategies. Like there are strategies and things that you can do every single day to reduce stress. And these are things that everybody should be doing. They should be a part of like the national health guidelines, but they are not. There's no national guideline for stress reduction. So that's why P3 is so important, is so necessary, because so many people are stressed out right now. Like so many people. And I don't know if you remember when COVID hit, everyone was stressed out. There was so much fear mongering from the media, the government. They did a terrible job and they did a disservice by fostering so much fear. And I'm concerned that there's going to be another pandemic at some point or some national tragedy. And how will we respond in that moment? So during times where there is peace and calm, right? That we're not in a pandemic right now, we're not at war. So now is the time to work on cultivating inner peace, work on reducing your stress levels, regulating your nervous system, optimizing your health in mind, body, and spirit, so that when that season comes, we can respond better than we did last time. There are reports that mental health was not doing really well. So many people were anxious. There was increased suicidal thoughts, increased depression during that time. And the time to get your mind, body, and spirit right is before the crisis, not during the crisis. And unfortunately, we wait to the crisis too often to address issues. And so that's what this platform is also about, helping you to foster increased resilience, increase faith, and optimizing your health, optimizing wellness, so that you can better walk in your purpose as a believer, and so that you can thrive, have inner peace and joy in the midst of trials and tribulations. I do believe that we are in the last days, and I have a burden in my spirit and in my heart to get you ready, to get people ready, because from what I suspect is that most people are not ready. They either are lacking spiritually, they're going to church, but they're really lukewarm, or they are not able to handle the extreme pressure and devastation that potentially will happen during the time of trouble. You know, if you get really upset at something at your boss or at work or with your kids, these are like minor things that are not life threatening, that are not threatening to take away our livelihood or our money or anything like that. So those things shouldn't be causing us to lose our peace. And so right now is the time to prepare. This is the word for the remainder of 2024, preparation. And let that carry us over into 2025 to prepare so that we are ready for whatever comes our way. And so, with that, I want to just close and say that in this video, we talked about fasting, the types of fast, the benefits, and I'm encouraging you to sign up for our next 3-day fast, which is December 2 to 4. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. And again, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like right now, click and subscribe, like the video. And if this was helpful and you know someone that can benefit, definitely share the link with them so they can get this information as well. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.